Zero textbook cost courses are the best ones in my opinion because you don't have to really use outside resources to pay for things that the school should provide for you.
When it comes to having zero textbook courses, I realized that the ones that offer free textbooks, they have a lot more resources and they're a lot more supportive.
Honestly, it feels even better to be in a zero textbook class because I know that I'm not paying for the material that I won't be using. So I feel even relieved to know that I don't have to pay for another amount of money for the class I'm taking.
I've never purposefully enrolled in a ZTC course. I've always just stumbled upon it and found out on the first few days. It's always a happy accident. I would love to know that ahead of time, but it's just been happy accidents so far.
So when I enroll in classes that offer free textbooks, I get more enticed to actually enroll in those classes compared to classes that I'd have to pay for them.
There was a time where I was not receiving financial aid, and as a single parent, the cost of textbooks and other materials for all of my classes added up, and it got to the point where sometimes I would fall behind because I didn't have the textbook or other materials that I needed. Sometimes I was lucky enough to have a professor that would post copies of the chapters or other materials that we needed, but that wasn't always the case.
The biggest impact that having to shell out more money for textbooks is that it's put me back a year from transferring over. I should have transferred about this time last year, but having to add into my budget the cost of textbooks means that I have to work more hours, and if I work more hours, then that means I have less time to go to do what I need to do for classes. And then I have to take less classes. And if I take less classes, then I'm going to transfer later. And like here I am transferring a year later.
So if I didn't have to spend that much amount of money, $200 on a textbook, I can probably enroll in another class because one class is like over $100. So one class is around $449 for international students.
If I didn't have to spend money on textbooks, I would save that money for my daughter because growing up, I struggled with my family financially. I couldn't afford to go to school. I couldn't afford a lot of things. So I don't want her to ever feel that, which is why I try so hard to obtain good grades. And even when it's hard for me, I do my best. So it's really helpful to have these CTC courses. It relieves a lot of the stress and financial burden on me as a single parent.
The message I want to relate to the faculty that do have zero textbook class courses is I truly appreciate you guys, and I believe you make your class a lot more enticing actually, because I've realized I've chosen classes that are ZTC, zero textbook class courses, over classes that actually you have to pay for the textbooks.